what's up, everybody? Welcome to another installment of BrickWall Reviews. I'm Dave, and tonight is the last night of the Black Excellence Month. I mean, mind you, though, Black Excellence is 365, 24/7, 365. That's Black Excellence right there for y'all. So, right now, I'm doing something I'm really excited about. I got something in my hair. Hold up, wait a minute. Oh, got something in my hair. Scrap, wait, there we go. Almost got it. You know what? All right, yo, screw it. But anyway, I'm excited. I've been waiting to do this review right here for like the longest, right? Because I've been really excited about this one. I've been debating on whether or not I want to do it here, y'all. I'm just gonna keep picking at this thing in my head till I figure out where it is and how I can get it almost. Because the camera's showing. There it goes. All right, look at that behind the scenes stuff. Anyway, but yeah, I've been excited to do this here review for like the longest since I started listening to this here podcast. I know the last podcast I did was A Quiet Part Loud, which I did get some good reception on that because there were people who watched that but didn't know other people did watch it, so they just wanted, second opinions, and also just felt good for them to hear somebody else talk about it. So tonight I'm gonna be talking about this the Wakanda Forever podcast, the official Black Panther Wakanda Forever podcast. It is hosted by Ta-Nehisi Coates, who is a very acclaimed writer. He wrote some Black Panther comics. He got a whole bunch of material out. Like, look him up. Like, he's really dope. And I've read some of his Black Panther runs. So shout out to Ta-Nehisi Coates. This is brought to you by Spotify and hold up. I forgot what's the other company. I want to make sure I get it right. This is brought to you by Spotify and Proximity Media, and it pretty much explores the making of Wakanda Forever, and not just like basic making of like, oh, this is what we did here and this is how we shot this film. It's not just that, but it goes and dives into what the mindset was going into Wakanda Forever, because at least we forget Chadwick Boseman was Black Panther, played T'Challa, and his untimely passing, obviously, and very much so put off the production of this film. Not just the production of the film, but like pretty much how this film was being approached. It made the approach completely different. So, and before I go any further, I want to remind you guys, go ahead, hit that like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. I'm saying? I do these videos live, you know what I'm saying? So make sure if y'all see the notification pop up, y'all can join in live and comment and everything like that, interact with me. I always love when that happens. But all right, so getting to it. Yeah, so like I was saying though, it's really good. Like, just listening to all the behind the scenes that goes on, that went into just making this movie a reality. Because at one point, and we probably all kind of figured this, but it's different hearing it straight from the horse's mouth, so to speak, is that they were not really like excited to do this film anymore. Like, in the first episode, 6 episodes in all, and like it literally just finished like a couple weeks, like about a week or so ago. It was the last episode of the pod. So like, and that's also like, I was like, yo, I should review this, but like they still doing episodes actively. So like, I want to at least get like a full picture, go through, hear everything that they're talking about and blah, blah, blah. But, and this was a great pod. Like, let me tell you that this was an amazing podcast, not just because it was about the movie, but just hearing the emotion that each cast member and crew member shared, just around, not just T'Challa, not just around Chadwick Boseman passing, but just around having to come to set and having to get that mindset going to create this film. And not only that, but you also get some tidbits and some inside looks, so to speak, about what it really meant to make this film, like what really went into not just Wakanda Forever, but Black Panther, the first Black Panther. What all went into that, the energy, the thought process, you know what I'm saying? Just how much and how big and important that was to everybody involved with that movie. It was so good. And the first episode really almost made me cry. I'm not even gonna hold you. Like, I'm at work, I'm listening to it, and I'm just like, hold it together, man. Hold it together. I can't let these people see me cry here, man. They're gonna think something really wrong with me, man. I just gotta hold it together. So, but no, it was really that deep, because like hearing Ryan Coogler really recall not just where he was when he found out Chadwick died, but how far along production he was, how excited he was to get the film started. And then we all know Chadwick Boseman, he passed, unfortunately, due to colon cancer. which nobody knew. Like he kept that to himself and his family, right? Like nobody knew, nobody he worked with, nobody he collaborated with, nobody. Like people who spent days and months and maybe even potentially years around him did not know. Like, and it was just amazing, just like him, just hearing Ryan Coogler. Well, not amazing, more so heartbreaking almost to hear how Ryan Coogler was just like how he found out not just that Chadwick passed, but that he also had a condition, and just knowing that he was battling that condition the whole time. I mean, we talked about this. I talked about this before once, but and it's been said countless amount of times. But knowing that Chadwick was battling cancer and doing that Black Panther movie and giving it his all, it was just like, man, and just hearing Ryan Coogler, the director, just reflect on that and just say how much it meant to him. Like at one point, he even kind of broke down a little bit, and oh man, he broke down a little bit, and it's just like, man, damn, like this really hurt. Like just hearing that, you know what I'm saying? Because he would talk about how close they were, how close they gotten, and how much advice he always got, and just like the relationship and how involved Chadwick was in the making of Black Panther. He was very involved. You know what I'm saying? Down to from the casting to script suggestions to just being in the room saying, yo, we should do this. We should do this. And you know what I'm saying? We shouldn't do that though. That's not the right move. Fighting for stuff. And it's just, I cannot express how incredible it was just in that first episode alone. Right? That's just the first episode I'm explaining this to y'all. But the other episodes, they go into Letitia Wright, who plays Shuri. She, you know what I'm saying? She has episode where she talks about it. They have costume designers, set designers, producers. Nate Moore, who's a producer at Marvel. You know what I'm saying? They talk about, again, like I said earlier, they talk about what went into creating the film of Black Panther, how long they were talking about doing that. Kevin Feige, the head honcho of Marvel himself, got on there and was talking about just like how much, what they went through to get the film and all that. It was just such an amazing listen. They had Angela Bassett was on there, the guy who played Namor. Let me see what his name is. That's the one person whose name I'm not very familiar with. Tenoch Huerta, who played or Tenoch, excuse me if I'm pronouncing the name wrong. Y'all know me. Who played Namor? He was on there. They had Dominique Thorne, who played Riri Williams, aka Ironheart. She was on there. And just coming, like you hear so many different people, so many stories of just like not only what it was to come in and suddenly realize that Chadwick was gone, especially from people who worked in the first film, but people who just entered this universe and just entered this film saga, so to speak, and didn't get the chance to meet Chadwick. Right? Didn't get the chance to really meet him, to really interact with him, you know what I'm saying? Like some people did on the first one, you know what I'm saying? They just talk about the experience, you know what I'm saying? How it felt for them to be in the movie, of course, as well, you know what I'm saying? And how it felt to get the phone calls from Marvel and to going on set and to, stand up and do their role and, you know what I'm saying? All that stuff. It's such a beautiful podcast. I promise you, it's so good. Like just to hear, like I can't say this enough, just to hear their experiences, you know what I'm saying? Just to hear what went behind making this film. One of the most interesting stories I heard was when making the first one, how Ryan Coogler with Nate Moore. Nate Moore is an African American as well. But when Ryan Coogler, he said when I got on the phone with him, I had to ask, like, "Are you Black?" Because he was like, if Nate Moore wasn't Black, if this producer wasn't Black, I don't think I would have done it. That's what he was saying. You know what I'm saying? He was like, and just. They go over just how long Black Panther was in the works. They said that back when Iron Man came out, that Black Panther was on the first slate of films to do. You know what I'm saying? Like Black Panther could have, in a different world, Black Panther would have had a movie up there before the Avengers came out, or somewhere around like when after the first Avengers, because I think Black Panther was in the works to be done before Guardians of the Galaxy. So Black Panther would have been a phase 2 film. We would have gotten Black Panther in another world. We probably got Black Panther in like 2014, 2015. You know what I mean? Like it's incredible to hear like how they advocated for it and how Kevin Feige was excited about that film. Like again, like I said, Black Panther was one of the top characters that Kevin Feige himself was like, yeah, nah, we got to do a movie on him. Like I want to do him. Like let's do him. Let's do Iron Man, Cap, Thor, Guardians, and all that. Like they have writers on this movie for years. It's like listen to this podcast. Is what I'm saying. Like this was such an amazing look into what it took to build the world of Wakanda, right? Like you talked to there was some people on there that were doing like the historical research that went into making sure that Africa and the historical and cultural research, let me say that went into making sure that Africa was portrayed the right way, that Wakanda even though Wakanda is a fictional nation, they still wanted to honor correctly the portrayal of the people of Wakanda, the Wakandans who, Wakanda's in Africa. So they wanted to make sure they were paying honor and doing due diligence, not just throwing something together and saying, okay, yeah, we read a little book over here, blah, 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 blah. No, like they was going spending months in Africa and doing like deep diving, talking to like professors and all types of stuff, right? Even with Namor and what was it? His nation, right? They talked so much about how they went to Aztec, went to what I'm saying, went to Mexico, went to Peru, went to different places, studied the history, and they said like at one point we were even told that we had it wrong, so we had to go back and like redo a lot of stuff that we were going to plan to do, like because they talked about how much and how powerful. And when I do my Black Panther Wakanda Forever review in just a while, y'all see, what I'm saying, I'll talk about how the cultures were represented, but they talked about what went into that, like how much and how accurately and how serious they were about making sure that they weren't just being a stereotype, or they weren't just taking the easy way out. Like they wanted to honor these people, and they even talked about some of the feedback they got with honoring these people and their cultures and what I'm saying, all types of stuff, their languages, their customs, all that, archaeology, clothing, all that. Like that was a full on like educate, like they became fully educated in that. You know what I'm saying? Like the way that we're educated in stuff from school, I'm educated in math, or educated in our history, or educated in just American history, or whatever the case may be. They were fully educated. Like they could teach us a class. You feel me? Like they can get on whole seminars. That's how I imagine how, because just the way they were talking, I imagine that they could hold seminars and classes and really teach us all stuff about these different cultures and different ways of life. So you get looks into things like that. You know what I'm saying? You get looks into like, they even have the composer Ludwig. I don't know how to say his last name, but they even get the composer on there. He talks about like even how he found different instruments and what he went through to create the score. Like it wasn't just like he sat down and just hit a piano and do 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 and was like, "Yo, I got the score." Like no, he went and he went through a process. You know what I'm saying, to really make sure that again he honored what they were trying to do. You know what I'm saying? And so it's so good of a podcast. Like this, like I said, there's 6 episodes. The pod just recently wrapped up a couple weeks ago, so you can now binge the entire thing. Each episode goes from between like 45 minutes to like an hour and a half. Again, depending on who they have on there. It's really good, and just hearing Ta-Nehisi Coates host it and narrate it and talk about his experience and his connection to the Black Panther character, as well as his connection to Marvel comics in general, is just an amazing trip. Like he really paints this scene. He really paints an amazing scene. You know what I'm saying? He even talks about his start in the industry and how he, how he came up in the industry, what it took, where he was at, how he grinded to keep going and how he stayed persistent. Like it was so good, man. Like like I said, I cannot recommend this podcast enough. It's amazing. There were multiple times where I almost bust out in tears. This was such an amazing podcast. So that said, I give this a 6 out of 10, a 6 out of 5 stars. You know what I'm saying? I almost made a whole new number for the scale. And that still wouldn't have done it. If I said 6 out of 10, I'd say, oh, wait, no, 16 out of 10, 60 out of 10, 1,000 out of 10. Like this was a great listen. Every episode that came out, I made sure I listened, and I was very, very interested. I was very attentive. I loved it so much. So, like I said, this is a beyond 5-star podcast for me. You know what I mean? So make sure y'all check it out. Is the Wakanda Forever, the official Black Panther podcast. It is available now on Spotify, brought to you by, and I done dang on forgot to play his name again. Brought to you by Proximity Media, who also has another podcast that I do want to get around to. They have a I think it's just simply called Proximity, but I will check that out, and I do plan to check that out, check the episodes they have out, and I do plan to come here and talk to you guys about it because this is a different form of media. Like I said, BrickWall reviews, we're not only bound to just TV, movie, anime. Like if it's a good podcast out there, why not? You know what I'm saying? Like especially in this day and age where everyone's doing a pod, myself included. Make sure you check us out on Twitch Thursday nights. It's fun to just hear different ones. So and also too, one last thing before I go, listening to how Ta-Nehisi Coates conducted this podcast, interestingly enough, gave me kind of pointers and confidence in doing my series over there on Facebook, Cementing the Wall, where I have 2 episodes out over there on the Facebook page right now. Link in the description down below. And I've talked to an artist, I've talked to a director, and I got so many more planned that I can't wait for you guys to see them. Shameless plug, I know, but yeah, this was a very, very good podcast. So like I said, I give this 5 stars. I do if you have Spotify or wherever you listen to your podcast to, find out where you can get it, and definitely listen to it. The Wakanda Forever, the official Black Panther podcast, is really dope, and I do highly, highly, highly recommend it, especially if you've seen Wakanda Forever, which I will be back to talk about in another video very shortly. At the time of this recording, this will be the next video. So stay tuned for that. But that's all I have for you guys. Thank you all for tuning in. Remember to hit the like button down below, subscribe to the channel if you're not already subscribed. And if you have any thoughts on this podcast, if you listen to it, or if you haven't listened to it yet, or if you listened to it after you heard my review, let me know down in the comment section what you thought about it. You know what I'm saying? Let me know what you think. Let me know if it had any impact, and just tell me something good. Or tell me that you don't like me. I don't know. I hope you don't, though. But this is not the end of the Black Excellence Month, because I will be back with my Black Panther Wakanda Forever review to end off the month. And Instagram, make sure y'all follow me on Instagram, because I got a surprise. Maybe, probably, you might get a bonus round over there on Instagram. So make sure you subscribe or follow me over there. And until next time, y'all, stay easy, stay breezy. Peace. Wakanda forever.